Thanks for taking the time to download the Inside the Jungle Football Daily Podcast. To send along your feedback about this show, send your emails to insidethejungle@spnt.tv.
Hey, what's happening, Bengals fans? Inside the Jungle postgame coming at you. The Bengals win 30. That's right, 30-0. Johnny Manziel and the Cleveland Browns offense gets you 0. Jeremy Hill was a beast. Andy Dalton was but look, 9-4-1 sounds pretty good. Get in touch, Bengals fans. It's your call-in show. Inside the Jungle postgame right now.
This is Inside the Jungle postgame with Nick Zuberling.
Payback. That's right. Payback is absolutely right. It feels good, doesn't it, Bengals fans? 30-0. You win in Cleveland, and you shut out Johnny Manziel. Make him look like a college quarterback today. Just a great day to be a Bengals fan. Absolutely great day. The last, was the largest Bengals shutout since they won 30-0 against the Browns back in 2006. So, a lot to be happy about. Get in touch. 404-946-3397 is the number to call if you want to get in touch, or if you're outside the country as well. Inside the Jungle is the Skype line. Let's start off the show with a bang. John from Kentucky, how you doing, man?
Oh, man, it never feels so good. You know what? I was negative about the team all week on social media and whatnot. The Bengals shut me the F up today, and it never feels so good. I'm so glad. Man, let's do it again. Let's have a great game with Denver. And, you know, when Cincinnati runs the ball, man, it's, you know, with Jeremy Hill, they're a different team. I mean, wouldn't you agree?
Oh, there's no question about it. Today, and let's be fair too. Bernard had a pretty good day himself. As a team, they rushed for 244 yards on 45 carries. Bernard had 79 yards, and he averaged over 5 yards a carry. Hill was a beast, though. Hill, they knew what they were doing this week when they decided to let Hill be the starter at running back and have the one-back system. And credit to Hugh Jackson and the offense for making that call. It paid off dividends today.
Oh, it certainly did. Now, I had to listen. I didn't get to see. But let me ask you, I know Manziel was sacked several times. Did we blitz Manziel? I'm taking it we did.
Oh, yeah. They gave him all kinds of pressure. They brought corners off the edge. They brought safeties. They gave him a lot of different looks, and they definitely confused him. Chase in the chat room, John, wants to know, how about Dre Kirkpatrick?
Yeah, Dre got an interception today. That is fantastic. It couldn't have came at a better time. Hopefully, Dre has gotten to where, you know, he can play football without needing an ambulance, and apparently he can. So it appears that he is coming around. We definitely need him. This game coming up next Monday night is an important game. Let's do the same. I don't know if we can shut out Denver or not, but I definitely think we would be a lot more competitive if we play with the play calls we use today as opposed to, you know, what we've done earlier in the season.
Well,
so I think we've got a good chance. What?
I would just want to pump the brakes a little bit. We are talking about the Cleveland Browns, who aren't exactly world beaters, and Denver's coming in playing really well. So I feel your excitement, and I'm expressing cautious optimism with Denver coming to town next week.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I still look, our defensive line's not as good as they used to be. I like the idea of all-out blitzes. That's what we did in September. So, you know, I don't think we should drop back into coverage. That's just my opinion. You know, some people this week thought that we shouldn't blitz Manziel because, he's got good feet. But I was thinking, no way, blitz him all out. It's his first NFL game. And that appeared to be the thing to do. And I would definitely do that with Peyton Manning. I'd just go after the guy. So, you know, that's my opinion anyway. And, of course, just run the football. I mean, I don't know really what other game plan that would work better. But I'm sure we'll have time to talk about that, you know, more this week on Wednesday night, Nick. And it's a pleasure to be on the program on a day like this. I know other people want to talk. So let me just say, man, who day? Thank God. Man, 30-0. They beat us 23-0. We go up there. I didn't think we would win 30 to nothing. I thought Manziel would give us trouble, but man, you might as well have me quarterbacking for Cleveland today. That guy's a joke so far, anyway.
Hey, John, appreciate the call. We'll talk to you on Wednesday night.
All right,
Who day? That's John from Kentucky getting us off with a bang here on Inside the Jungle postgame. If you want to get in touch, Bengals fans, 404-946-3397 is the number to call. Skype us if you're outside the country as well, Inside the Jungle. That will do also. Jeremy Hill, 25 carries, 148 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And how about John from Kentucky's guy, Rex Burkhead? He gets in garbage time. He runs the ball pretty well and scores his first career touchdown in the NFL. Kudos to Rex Burkhead. That's good. Good for him. I like to see these guys get some PT and do well. Speaking of guys who have done really well, and I mentioned this during the game on Twitter, quickly becoming one of my favorite Bengals is Ryan Hewitt. The guy was awesome today. He's been doing a bang-up job as the lead back in this offense as well. And he had 3 catches today for 34 yards. I'm quickly becoming a Ryan Hewitt fan here at this Bengals team. Back to the jungle line we go. Area code 323. Hi, who's this? You're on the air, 323.
Hello.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. You're on the air.
Hey, great game, huh?
Hi, who's this?
This is Steven calling from Los Angeles, California.
Hi, Steven. What's up in L.A., man?
Nice weather today, but I'm born and raised in Cincinnati. Left Cali, came out here to Cali my 9th grade year, but still Cincinnati in my heart.
Awesome. That's fantastic. Well, hey, a lot to be happy about today.
Yes, definitely. And, another thing regarding Dalton, if you look at it in a sense, this is 4th season, 4 times in a row, he won 9 games each season. So that's a blessing within itself.
Yeah.
Due to our history.
Great point.
So we need to stay with Dalton, man. He's a winner, without a doubt.
I like your thinking there. I didn't even think about the fact that, this is his 3rd year with 9, or 4th year now with 9 wins in the season. That's really impressive. And, today he didn't have to do anything but turn around and hand the ball off. And when you can do that, I mean, that just makes you better as a quarterback. Now, he didn't have the greatest day throwing it, but he didn't need to, thankfully.
Yeah, definitely. He almost had an opportunity to hit Hewitt. If he just put a little bit more on it, that was a touchdown. No one was behind him as well. So,
yeah.
Awesome game. I don't want to take up any more of your time. I've been listening for the last 3 years. I've appreciated a few Cincinnatians who live out here in Cali. I've been passing information about the podcast. They love it as well. So
awesome.
Take care, and I will continue to listen.
Thanks. Appreciate it, Steven. In L.A., I love it. Thanks for calling, bud.
Yes, sir. My pleasure.
Who day? We've got California represent. I know Anthony, my co-host Anthony Cosenza there on Wednesday night. He's loving hearing from these California Bengals fans. That's awesome. Thanks for the call, Steven. Really appreciate it. Yeah. Look, Andy Dalton today, he didn't have to do anything. And yet 117 yards passing, which wasn't more than what he got the last time they played the Browns. It wasn't great. He did have the 1 interception, but what I don't understand and what baffles me the most about this team offensively is that in that game against Cleveland a couple weeks ago, we knew that Cleveland's rush defense was not very good. In fact, early on in that game, you saw the Bengals run the ball 3 straight times with success and move the football. And for whatever reason, they went away from it. I don't understand. I think today you see why you need to run the football against the Cleveland Browns. That's just my opinion. Again, I don't know why they went away from it, but I'm glad they didn't today. Area code 443. Hi, who's this?
Keenan from Maryland. How you doing?
Hey, Keenan, what's up, man?
Not much. That was a pretty good game. Can I just go ahead and say, I'm gonna give the game ball to Jeremy Hill, but does anyone see the effect of what Brandon Thompson gets on the game instead of Pecco? He just gets through the line like it's nothing. He needs to be starting. I've been saying this for a little bit.
Yeah, that was great, man. That was the way he's played, and I think we've noticed this too since he's come back from his injury as well. He's really made that defensive line go. Now, I mean, they're not great because they're not deep, but when he's rested and he's able to use that explosiveness to get to the backfield and disrupt plays, I mean, that was huge today.
Yeah. I'm just a Brandon Thompson fan. Maybe I'm just a Brandon Thompson fan though, but I just think he should start over Pecco.
Well, he's playing.
Yeah.
He's playing a lot better than Pecco. I will agree with you there.
Yeah, Pecco has been playing too good this year. He kind of fell off, but that was a pretty good game. We needed that. That's the first shutout since 2006. They said by the Browns.
I don't know if it's their last one, but I think it was their largest one since 06.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And to be honest, off the top of my head, I can't even tell you who the most recent shutout is. I should have had that information before I went live, but yeah, it's a good day by the defense.
Yeah. All right.
Who day? Appreciate the call, Keenan.
Uh-huh.
404-946-3397 is the number to call. If you call in, you don't get through, don't give up. Keep trying. We'll get you on the air here on Inside the Jungle post game. I love what, and I have to find. I love what Brian Wright here in the chat room said. So Jeremy Hill was right after all. Yeah, that was fantastic. Jeremy Hill with his comments after the Browns lost a couple weeks ago. He went out today and backed it up. He absolutely backed it up. Back to the Jungle line we go. Area code 226. Hi, who's this?
Hey, Nick. It's Ryan calling from Canada.
Hey, Ryan in Canada. What's up, man?
Not too much, man. Pretty pumped about the win today. But you know what? You were talking about on the chat line with injuries with Vinny Ray. He came back in the game.
He did. I was surprised to see it, but yeah, he came back in. It was very brief. I mean, that injury happened late anyway. But yeah, from what I saw, he was back in the game.
And Emmanuel Lemire, I saw that he was out and he might be doubtful to return, or what was the deal with him?
Lemire had an injured hamstring, and they let him sit the rest of the game. Not sure what his status is moving forward, though.
Either way, I'm watching the end of this Baltimore game here. I'm hoping that Jackson will come back somehow and put up 8 points here. But great win, especially to see our team go into Cleveland in their place and do what they actually did to us earlier on in the season. So it was awesome, man.
Yeah, it was a great game. When you can run the ball for 244 yards, that's a spectacular day.
And I'm thinking if we had Hewitt wide open, you were talking on the chat line as well how awesome he was and how he played. He was wide open on that pass over the middle. If Andy just had put a little bit of more air underneath that ball, that would have been 27-0, I think, in the first half. Yeah,
that was the one. I guess if you want to say blemish on Dalton today. If he just puts a little more air under it, he may have had 6 there, but you're right. I mean, if you have to take any negatives from today, I would say that's probably the only issue I have with what the Bengals did today offensively. Gotcha. But look, I think you can't really fault the guy. After that, he didn't turn the ball over, and look, just turn around and hand it off. It's working.
Yeah, Jeremy Hill running the ball today. Gio Bernard, I was happy to see him with a little scrap time at the end, but I think he had 17 carries for almost 100, and yeah, it was just a fun day to be able to watch it. And I'm glad that later on tonight when we're watching all the highlights, we have to see any Johnny football flashing the money signs. They'll be showing the Bengals doing it. So I'll let you get back to everyone else, and thanks for everything you do. And Houday.
Appreciate the call, Ryan.
Thanks, Nick.
I'm glad he brings that up. Look, they won't show, for whatever reason, the NBC highlight show that starts at 7, Football Night in America, NFL Network, ESPN. They won't show highlights of this game because there were no highlights. They're going to see that 0 put up by Manziel, and they won't even talk about what the Bengals did. They're going to talk about what Manziel didn't do, and that's a shame. That's the bigger issue I have, and that's why I can't stand the mothership. All right, let's go back to the Jungle line. Area code 314. Hi, who's this?
Hey, it's Antoine. How you doing?
Antoine, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on? Hey, you guys hit on a couple points already. Bad part being, well, not too bad. I mean, Dalton missing a few throws, but luckily we didn't need him today. But and also every time Jimmy Hill was running, I was thinking about the comments he made after the Browns game. A couple of times he ran past Dante Whitner, and one of them was a touchdown. So I was thinking about that the whole time. But yeah, I think we found our running back. I'm glad he went to the one running back. Today was a statement game. We really needed this, and dominating the both line of scrimmages was huge. But and our cornerbacks, I admit I was really nervous about this game, not only because we're not very good at guarding the running quarterback, but Terrence Newman down, Gresham was down, Pac-Man was playing, but I think he was still hurt. But we had, Bernard and Kirkpatrick playing back there today, and they did a real good job. Kirkpatrick had the interception, so yeah, I was very nervous about the game today, but we got through it.
I liked the way they played against. When you watched, and when this is when they didn't blitz, when they were just rushing 4, I loved seeing that pocket just kind of collapse, and Manziel had nowhere to go. A lot of times, what'll happen is somebody on the defensive line will get out of their lane, and that'll create that opening up the middle that these quarterbacks can run through. And today, you didn't see that from the defensive line. They kept everything in front of him, and they didn't allow him to get loose.
Yeah, I've seen that too. I mean, I don't know where that's been all year. Will Clark did a really good job today out there. I seen he played a lot of minutes today. So I don't know where that was at. As long as we can keep this going, I mean, if we play like this, there's nobody that can beat us. I mean, you run the ball like that. Jeremy Hill is ridiculous. He reminds me like of a Corey Dillon or even Le'Veon Bell from Stu. What he's been doing in the league. It seems like he can keep this up just like Le'Veon Bell has. So. Yeah, it's a great all-around game. Hopefully, get some guys back. We're hurting still on the linebacker side of things. So, but that's all I had today, and I hope I talk to y'all later on. And later on, what, Tuesday or Wednesday?
Wednesday night. We'll talk to you then, Antoine. Appreciate the call, bud.
Man,
who day? That's Antoine here on the Jungle Line giving us a ring. 404-946-3397 is the number to call. Continue to call in and get in touch. If you don't get through, keep trying. We'll get you on the air. Mike Smith in the chat room says Dre dedicated his first pick to John from Kentucky. I don't know if he did that, Mike, but it was good to see Dre Kirkpatrick get an interception and put to bed the Browns offense. It was good to see. Happy for Dre. But you didn't see Newman today. And I thought the secondary played really well. They made Manziel confused. I thought Leon Hall did a pretty good job when you back up what he did last week. So I agree. I thought the secondary played excellent, and they made Manziel look confused out there. Back to the Jungle Line we go. Area code 410. Hi, who's this?
Hey, Nick, this is Seth from Baltimore.
Hey, what's happening, man? How you doing?
Good, Nick. How you been?
Well, I'm great. The Bengals shut up the Browns, man.
Yeah, that's a bold prediction. I don't think anybody could have made. But yeah, it was a good game. Is what I needed, I guess. I guess is what we needed, really. But the game I'm really looking to is the Broncos game. That's for all the marbles, I think. Whether we go to the playoffs or not, because Pittsburgh won and the Ravens won. So hopefully we get some people back. Hopefully Tyler Eifert finally turns to practice if he's even returning this season. And yeah, even though AJ Green didn't have a good game, I mean, it's okay. Our running game would look good. Gio looked good. Hill looked good. Our O-line looked good. Our defense looked good. So all together, it was a good game. So yeah, who dey?
Yeah, I agree. Who dey? Look, I think the fact now they've got 9 wins, that's huge as far as the standings go right now. If I take a look at the updated standings, and if the playoffs were to start today, your Bengals would be the 4th seed behind Indianapolis, who clinched a playoff spot. In fact, they clinched their division today with their win. And so right now the Bengals would be the 4th seed. And that 9 wins is huge because they still, there's still the potential now that 3 teams from the AFC North can make the postseason. That's ridiculous. I mean, right now Baltimore's the 6th seed.
Okay, so if the playoffs started today, who will we be going against?
We'd be hosting Pittsburgh.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, of course. But hey, look, for 3 quarters, we had that team beat.
Yeah, it's weird because last season we were good at home and sucked on the road, and this year it's like we don't want to go home. We would rather be road warriors.
Yeah, actually, if you think about it, I believe they have an identical record at home versus the away. I think they have 1 more win on the road than I think they both have 2 losses at home and on the road. So it's pretty close. But you're right. They seem to have, over the last 6 weeks, it looks like they have played better as a road team.
Yeah. Hopefully that comes back when these guys go to Pittsburgh.
And you got to worry about next week though. Denver coming to town.
Oh yeah.
And so look at they're fighting for their seeding as well. They don't have anything wrapped up on their end unless they win tonight. So yeah, next weekend's a big game, and I think it's a big game psychologically for the Bengals as well in prime time to get over that hump.
That is true. I'm not the best when the lights are bright, so hopefully that's another demon that we can beat. But that's why we play the game, right?
That's right.
All right, who they?
Hey, appreciate the call, Seth. Let's see. Area code 703. Hi, who's this?
Hi, this is Richard Wilson.
Hey, Richard, how you doing, man?
I have no voice. I'm doing a lot better than last week.
Hey, I mean, anytime you can put up a 30 burger and shut out the other team, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, and what I think makes it even better is that we didn't have good Andy today. We had okay Andy. He wasn't terrible, but we didn't have what he can be, and yet we still did. Our defense really came to play. Our special teams came to play. Hill, I think some people were kind of worried that the Browns would really come after him for his comments, and he came to play. And this is their game plan that the Bengals have to do. They, next week they have to run the ball. The defense has to play hard because they're going to be against a much better quarterback. And with Steelers winning, they have to, the Bengals have to keep winning. They can't sit on their laurels and all that. They only have half a game. So they got the first game done. Now they need one more, and then they're in the playoffs for the fourth time. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, the big game next week. And if they could run the ball like they did today, and you keep Peyton Manning off the field, that could be huge.
Right. And I think the other thing I really liked this week is Bowling at right tackle was good. I mean, he's not great, but they're using like him and Winston and Newhouse to really put some big lines in there. And I think that's what you do. I mean, especially if Gresham's out, you go in, you go with the extra tackle, and just keep, pounding on the defense, make them have to hold up against 300-pound tight ends. And I thought Hugh Jackson did a good job of kind of changing his game plan this week, and I hope he can do something for next week.
I hear you, Richard. Yeah, I agree. I thought they did a great job scheming the Browns. They knew going into the game the Browns were great against the run, and when you were short your big tight end and Gresh, yeah, it was good to see Newhouse out there as a tackle eligible, and seeing the guys. They were basically using what the Steelers did against them a week ago and using it to their own game. They were pulling the guard in the center and doing different things out in space and letting Hill basically have option routes on the run. You can either bounce it outside or, cut it inside underneath the tackle. And, they used what the Steelers did to them to perfection against the Browns.
Yeah. So thanks for the show. Talk to you Wednesday. Have a great day. Who day?
Appreciate it, Richard. Who day? That's Richard Rolson here on the Jungle Line. One of the Rolsons calling in. If you want to get in touch, 404-946-3397 is the number to call. If you want to get in touch with us as well via Skype, you absolutely can. Inside the Jungle is the Skype account. Just looking at some of these numbers today by the Bengals, and from a passing perspective, it wasn't spectacular. A.J. Green had 5 catches for 49 yards. Ryan Hewitt, though, your second leading receiver, as I mentioned earlier, 3 catches for 34 yards. Let's welcome in Fatal Content here on the Skype line. Fatal, what's up, man?
Hey, those Bengals sure suck, don't they?
I wouldn't say that, but sure, okay.
Yeah, it's sarcasm, man. I just want to know where the pessimists are at this week. But you know what? This week is not about them. This week it's about this team. I mean, they did an outstanding job, and I call it that we bullied them back the way they did us, but even worse. And that's exactly what we did. We punched them in the mouth, and we took their lunch money.
We did take their lunch money. It was nice to see them respond the way, the Browns came into town a couple weeks ago and just, they ran the ball down their throats and they pushed the Bengals around. It was good to see them do that in the dog pound today.
Oh, yeah, it was, man. You can't see me right now, but I'm throwing out the money signs, man. I feel great.
Now you can see me doing it. That's right. Maybe this will go viral, me doing the money signs. No, it was good. They put him in his place, man. Look, all the talk all week was about Manziel this, Manziel that. Well, guess what? He put up 0 points.
0 points.
I think Brian Hoyer could have maybe done a little better job than that. I mean, he had a 2-game winning streak against the Bengals.
Yeah, and I don't even think he came close to scoring, did he? I mean, oh yeah, he probably did when they were in the red zone and he threw that pick across the field. But yeah, that was pure dominance, man. That's what we like to see. I mean, I would like to see a little more from the passing game, but when you run and play defense the way we did today, we're going to be tough to beat.
I mean, when I like Gio Bernard, Fatal, but man, Jeremy Hill he's awesome. He reminds me of Corey Dillon.
Yeah, and the beauty of it, Nick, is we don't have to take this approach where it's like I'd rather this guy than that guy. The beauty is that we have both, and if we just find a way to use them, it's beautiful. I actually saw in the third quarter we had them both in there, and we had Gio run just sit in the middle of the defense and catch the ball falling backwards, and that's the type of thing that we're waiting for. If you have both of them back there, it's incredible, and the beauty of it is, yeah, we just use them properly, and I mean, you don't have to pick. You'd rather have, of course, Hill running in between the tackles and getting the workload, but I mean, you have both of them, use them properly, and we're deadly.
Yeah, and it's no slouch. I'm not ragging on Bernard, but even he had a pretty good day today. He averaged over 5 yards to carry himself, and it's all about the mindset and the scheme. And when the line does their job, they should be able to do that each and every time.
And you beat me to my next point. I wanted to see your opinion on the usage and how we shuffled the line today. To me, that was great. I think it was a great adjustment to move Bowling over the tackle, and then at the end of the game, they even moved him back to left guard and brought in my boy Winston. I wanted to see what your opinion was on how we shuffled the O-line this week.
Well, it just goes to show you how versatile they are. That's why they draft the guys that they draft, because they played multiple positions in college. It's all across the board. Witt, we saw he can play guard at times. And the fact that you can put Bowling out at right tackle and then bring in a first-round pick in Winston as a backup and do some different things, I think it's a great job by the Bengals front offense and the management to pick the guys that they've picked. Now that they've got the offensive coordinator in place that actually likes running the football. You couldn't say that under Jay Gruden, but Hugh Jackson likes running the football, and he knows that this division, you need to do it. You need to ground and pound. And we talked about it all offseason. And it's like, where's it been? Well, this month, December, this is the month where you need to show that ability. And today they went out and did it flawlessly.
Exactly, and then it's all testament to the O-line, how they play, and everything has to be functioning properly. The play calling, and it just all flowed today. And a few names out there was Brandon Thompson balled out. Hewitt played well. I mean, who else? Kirkpatrick with his interception and his coverage, and I even saw some Dennard out there. That was great, man. I love it, man. It was a very, very impressive performance, and if we win next week, I mean, come on, man. This is gonna be a good way to close out the season. 'Cause I definitely know we can do what we just, maybe not what we did today to the Steelers, but I think that we can beat them at their house anytime.
Yeah, look, Denver's tough. Let's not go crazy here. But if they can win at home against a top AFC team in prime time, I think that just psychologically gets them over the hump, and it tells them that, look, just because it's a playoff game doesn't mean we have to play out of our minds. Let's go do our jobs, and things will take care of themselves. But look,
yeah, exactly.
worry about Monday night now. Then Pittsburgh will be a huge game after that. But you're right. I think that right now, just one game at a time, and let's see what we can do against the Broncos.
Yeah, the Broncos are tough, man, but we can run the ball down anyone's throats. If we just stay true to it, we can run the ball down anyone's throats. And if they want to stuff the box, and let them do that. I think Dalton can make some throws. So I'll let other people call in, man. But I will say this, man. What's our record, Nick?
9-4-1.
Okay, all right. Just repeat it one more time for me, brother.
9-4-1, Fatal.
Okay, man. That's all I want to say, man. I'll rest my case at that. Everybody who panicked, everybody who said we stunk, everybody who thought we were 4-9-1, eat some crow this week, man. That was a great game.
It was a great game. Hey, Fatal, appreciate the call. We'll talk to you on Wednesday, bud.
Hooday!
Hooday. That's Fatal content here on the Jungle Line, the Skype account here on Inside the Jungle. If you want to get in touch, 404-946-3397. Chase Salee brings up a good point in the chat room. He says Winston was a third-round pick. You're right. I butchered that. Winston was not a first-round pick. He was a third-round pick. So my bad there. Denver, according to the chat room, is up 3-0 here in this game against San Diego. So that's where they stand right now. Back to the jungle line we go. Area code 828. I have a feeling this is a Bengals fan calling from a Browns party.
Hey, Nick, how's this going?
Kurt from Asheville. What's up, man?
You know what? It feels really good. We have had our annual Bengals Browns party at our house. I think this is the third year in a row, and last 2 years haven't gone so well, and we've actually had the party. So to have a 30-0 shutout and lots of pictures and tweets to back up the wonderfulness of it has just been a great Sunday.
That had to feel good after what they did to us a couple weeks ago.
It did. It felt really good. And, of course, there was plenty of trash talking about, which win was more convincing. But I just think this late in the season, this win was really crucial. I have to think of John from Kentucky when I say this, but this was an incredibly convincing win. Just to have a football team that says, you know what, we got 3 weeks left in the season. This is a chance for us to prove to ourselves and others about, what a great team we are and how deep we can go into the playoffs if need be. And they just really went out. I mean, the running game was great. You can say what you want about Andy Dalton. It wasn't his best day of the year, but 30-0 is nothing to shy away from. The defense came out and really just showed that last week was a fluke of the way Paul Guenther put it in one of his press conferences and says that this is still an elite defense in the league, despite whether it's Mike Zimmer or Paul Guenther behind it. So it's a great feeling overall after what they did today.
Well, I think that too, the Browns quarterback certainly helped the defense's cause. I mean, he looked at times out there like he had the deer in the headlights look, like he wasn't sure what was happening. And there were times where there were guys like, Kirkpatrick was coming in off the edge on a blitz, or Leon Hall would all of a sudden leave his guy to come in. And we saw it cause some false starts on the Browns offense. And I think the fact that Manziel was the quarterback today, that might have had a little bit to do with the 30-0. I think that Brian Hoyer, though he had been playing bad over the last few weeks, I just think that from a Browns perspective, maybe they were a little premature to make that call with Manziel, because Hoyer had success against us the last couple of times out.
I mean, he did. I mean, you can probably, I don't know if you can go back this far, but my tweet during the draft actually predicted the Browns were going to take Manziel in the first round of the draft, because it seemed like a Browns kind of a move. I felt like I saw this coming from quite a while bit, and I'm probably one of the only Bengals fans out there that kind of feels bad, just because I had so many Browns fans in my house this afternoon. It's like,
well, you're the only one, because I don't feel bad.
I almost kind of want Manziel to come out next week and kind of redeem himself, just so my wife doesn't hate me too much. But, after today, I mean, you could probably find, maybe Andy Dalton to complain about. But, I mean, overall, the running game was great. The defense was great. I mean, it just shows that, I mean, you don't see it every week, but this is a team that can absolutely contend for the Super Bowl. And it just gives us a lot to hope about and a lot to look forward to in the last 2 weeks of the season.
Just got to take it one game at a time. Big game against Denver on Monday night.
Absolutely. We're going to be continuing watching that Denver Chargers game right now. So you're probably getting ready to wrap up the show or second half, but Who Day to all the fans out there. If you haven't checked it out, I got a lot of great funny pictures on Twitter at Dunny Redboy. If you want to see some funny pictures of a whole bunch of Browns people getting their butts beat on at a Bengals-Browns party, you should check it out.
I love it. Hey, Kurt, appreciate the call, bud.
Have a good one, Nick. We'll talk to you Wednesday.
All right, bud. Who Day? That's Kurt from Asheville
Good.
hosting a Browns party. He's married into a Browns family, so I'm sorry, Kurt, that you have to endure that each and every week. I just want to say this, and I don't know if this was intentional or not, but he looks like a mad genius if this is what actually occurred. Marvin Lewis comes out this week and he makes his comments about Johnny Manziel, which were controversial, and it brought awareness to this Bengals team and not a positive or a good light, I would say. But I think part of him is probably maybe he did it on purpose in a sense that, okay, now this defense needs to go out. You guys need to come out and you need to back me up. And they went out today and they played well. Not just the defense, but everybody played well. And I just don't. I wonder if there was some kind of motivational ploy, either if it was intentional or not. I don't know if it was intentional, but who knows? Maybe it was. Maybe Marvin, he did this on purpose in a sense to get his guys fired up and say, "Hey, look, we need to have my back here." And with Jeremy Hill, with the comments he made a couple weeks ago, I think he had a point to prove this week as well, and he certainly did. I mean, he was a beast today, that's for sure. I don't know. I could be way overthinking things, but today the defense and everybody bailed out Marvin Lewis, and that was good to see. I probably am overthinking it a little bit. Let's go back to the jungle line. Area code 470. Hi, who's this? 470, you're on the air.
Hey, what's going on? It's Jumpman.
Hey, Jumpman, how you doing, buddy?
All right, how you doing?
Hey, I'm happy.
Yeah, unfortunately we didn't get the chance to watch the game here. Got stuck with the New England game.
Wow, you might have been the only person in America who didn't get a chance to see this game from what I was reading about all week. Well, you didn't miss much because the Browns were not very good.
I see that. Yeah, but like the D-line played pretty good. Had some picks.
Yeah, D-line was fantastic. Brandon Thompson, I thought he had a good day. Geno Atkins had a good day. In fact, all of them played really well. Dunlap was good. Gilberry was good, and it was good to see Kirkpatrick get his first pick.
Finally.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I got, man. I just want to say what's up from Afghanistan. Uday.
Hey, appreciate the call. So the New England game was I didn't get a chance. Obviously, I didn't get a chance to watch it, but Miami was holding their own for a little bit, and I think New England kind of just busted it open.
Oh yeah, pretty much New England, they clinched their division. So,
well, hopefully we'll
like 2 weeks ago.
Hopefully we'll see them in the postseason.
Yes, sir.
Well, hey, Jumpman, I appreciate all you do for us. I appreciate your support of the show and continued safety over there in Afghanistan, man.
All right, y'all take care.
Hooday, that's Jumpman giving us a ring from abroad. Appreciate it, Jumpman.
Out.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love hearing from Bengals fans around the world. Get in touch, 404-946-3397. If you want, you can also dial us up. On the Skype line inside the jungle is the Skype account. Looking at, I just want to take a glance at Johnny Manziel's numbers today. 10 of 18 for 80 yards and 2 touchdowns. That looks an awful lot like Andy Dalton's numbers against the Browns a couple weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken. West, 5 carries for 23 yards. Crowell was 7 carries for 17 yards. Manziel also had 5 carries for 13 yards. As a team, they rushed 17 times for 53 yards. It's almost a carbon copy of that game in Cincinnati a few weeks ago. But, the Bengals jumped out early. They got up to the 17-zip lead, and after that, it was over. There was nothing that the Browns could do to respond to that. You weren't going to air it out like they were trying to avoid. And so kudos to the Bengals. When they got the ball, they put the ball in the end zone early, and they basically ended this game after the first 3 or 4 drives of the game. Area code 310. Hi, who's this?
This is Rick in L.A.
Rick in L.A.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for the shout-out for the 5 line a couple of weeks ago.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for calling in. I'm glad we were able to get you on the post-game show.
Yeah. We'll rush home. Great win. I will take Ray's 15-yard taunting every time. I will take that.
I thought that was awesome. They were all doing it, Rick.
Yeah, I know. If they play with that passion every week, they're unstoppable. I don't know, who put the bug in their ear, but I don't know. I'll take it. I'll take it every time.
Hey, when you can get the offense to run the ball for 250 yards. That's gonna. I think that'll be big, especially next week going into a game against Denver, who is really good, a very solid defensive team, and we know Andy Dalton is prone on prime time to throw up some turnovers and not play well. Just turn around and hand the rock off, man. Just let the guys around you do the things that they're good at.
Yeah, and they're really developing that tandem between Hill and Gio that's working really well. Andy threw the ball, 24 times today?
Yeah.
Yeah, not huge numbers, but it was enough. It's enough. Just play within, their, I'm not going to say limitations, but play within their
themselves.
Yeah, I guess themselves, exactly. And they can do it. I don't know. It was a good win. I was so happy because I was so terrified that they were going to lose to Manziel. And that would be the end of it nationally.
I was surprised, honestly, Rick. I was very surprised that the Browns made the move to Manziel this week. I just think I don't know. That was a lot to put on a first-year quarterback against a team that has been in the playoffs 3 years in a row, that is in first place in the division. I know they hadn't played like it, but they were still a first-place team. I don't know. I think what they were doing, what they wanted to do was get Manziel a start at home. And so this was their last home game. And I could see why they decided to do it this week, but I think it backfired today, clearly.
Yeah. And also, I feel bad for Hoyer, too. I mean, the guy's he played not great the past couple of weeks, but he's been pretty solid for them, in a carousel of quarterbacks that they've had there. I don't know.
No,
what are your thoughts?
I don't feel bad because it's the Browns, but I see what you're saying. Okay. Look, the guy got them to a 7-6 record, which, let's all be honest, nobody thought that the Browns would be 7-6. Exactly. And so for me, I just think they pulled the trigger a little early. And again, I think this was more of they were desperate. They were down to they knew it was a must-win game, and Hoyer hadn't been playing well, and it was the last home game of the year. I think maybe they wanted to appease the fan base a little bit too. I think maybe that had something to do with it. But again, who knows? Hoyer hadn't been playing well. Maybe they would have shut him out as well. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe you're right. Anyway, I just wanted to say, hey, Houday, great win. I'm over the moon.
As you should be. As you should be.
It's almost like a playoff win to me.
Well,
maybe I don't know. I'm reaching there. But,
I agree with your excitement, and I'm glad that they shut out the Browns, and they've got the 9 wins, which is big.
Exactly. All right. Thanks a lot, man. Enjoy the show.
Appreciate the call, Rick.
All right,
Houday, that's Rick from LA giving us a ring here on the Jungle Line. Get in touch. 404-946-3397. We'll continue to take your calls as long as we're getting them here at cincyjungle.com. Thanks for downloading the show, and thanks for tuning in live. We got a lot of people here in the chat room. It's been fantastic as I sit here and watch all the chatter amongst you guys while I'm taking these phone calls. It's awesome to see this fan base and this community here at Cincy Jungle and Inside the Jungle talk about our Bengals. It's fantastic. We mentioned Andy Dalton. It wasn't great. He didn't need to be great. 14 of 24 for 117 yards, and he had the 1 interception. Now, if I would have told you this a week ago, that Dalton would have gone 21 of 29 for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns and lost. Yet today, he's 14 of 24 for 117 yards and the 1 pick. You would have. This is why the NFL is so baffling to me sometimes. I really don't get it. It's so hard to understand from week to week. But when you can turn around and hand the ball off 45 times, that's getting it done. That's getting it done. I like seeing that. I like seeing the Bengals offensive line just mash up there. It's been fantastic. As we talked about the different game balls going around, a lot of people are saying Jeremy Hill. A lot of people are saying Hugh Jackson getting a game ball with the passing of his father. Mike Nugent with the passing of his father this week, getting game balls. I think they're also well-deserving as well. Let's go back to the jungle line. Area code 901. Hi, who's this?
Hi, it's Ryan from Memphis.
Hey, Ryan from Memphis. What's on your mind, man?
Great game, first off. Who they? I got a chance to watch the show out here because, when they pushed it to Manziel, they posted it all across the country. I think that's a great testament for the whole team because it's the closest thing we've had to a primetime game since that loss to the Patriots. The entire world was looking at us, and they showed out, and I think that's just awesome.
Yeah, it's a great point. Once Manziel was announced the starter, Fox changed the different games and the locations around the country from a regional aspect. And yeah, you're right. So a lot of people today got to see the Bengals for the first time since that New England game. That's a great point. I didn't even think about that. And I'm glad. I agree with you 100%. They balled out today on defense, and they made Manziel look they made him look like a college quarterback.
Exactly. And that's great for the mindset going into next week because this is a huge game. I mean, if we went out, we have the possibility of getting second seed and getting the bye week.
Yeah, that's true. A lot will depend on what happens tonight with Denver. If they win tonight, or if they win right now, they're playing San Diego right now. If they win right now, that'll get them to 11 wins, and it would be tough. It would be tough to catch Denver if we went out because they'd have to lose next week as well. Right, it's not impossible, but they would have to lose in week 17 as well, and we would have to beat Pittsburgh. And let's also not forget Indy. They don't have a tough game the rest of the year either. So a lot of things would have to happen or fall in place for the Bengals to get that first round bye. But look, if the season were to end today, they'd be division winners and they'd be hosting Pittsburgh in the first week of the playoffs.
Exactly. I don't want to take too much of your time, man. I just want to say hooday, great game. I love the show. Have a good one.
Hey, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. That's Ryan in Memphis here on Inside the Jungle. Get in touch, 404-946-3397. Frank Leonard on chat at DJ Elusive 45. I said on chat, I meant on Twitter. Dalton wasn't sharp today, but with the running game clicking on all cylinders and the defense dominating, he didn't need to. Amen to that. Look, from a stats standpoint, the leading receiver today for, as I mentioned, for the Bengals was A.J. Green. The Browns' leading receiver, Josh Gordon, 3 catches for 48 yards. As a team, they only had 10 catches. Andrew Hawkins, 2 for 7. He didn't play against the Bengals a couple weeks ago in Cincinnati. Today he played. He was targeted 4 times. He only had 2 catches. Jordan Cameron returned today he played. He's been banged up a lot this year for the Browns. He had 1 catch for 4 yards. Manziel threw for 80 yards total in this game. The game was won up front by the Bengals offensive line and the defensive line. They did a fantastic job on both sides of the ball. If you look at the third down efficiency, last week the Bengals were 3 of 13. This week, 7 of 14, 50% on third down. That'll get that. Hey, if you can get to 50% on third down, that's really good. And the Browns were 1 of 10 on third down. And I think one of those third down conversions was from a penalty. So as a whole, they had 2 first downs from penalties. The Browns did. Rushing first downs for the Bengals today, they had 16, and they had 24 total first downs. Just a great game by the offensive line, by the play calling. I loved seeing the different guys on the offensive line pulling and doing different things, which we hadn't seen in weeks past. See him bowling, pull to the left. Ryan Hewitt lining up a tight end and pulling left as lead blockers. Very similar to what we saw a week ago with Le'Veon Bell and the Steelers. To see them do that today against this Browns defense, I loved that they were able to adapt and see what is successful and implement that on their side. Because I think Jeremy Hill is just as good of a back as Le'Veon Bell is. And, look, Hill was awesome today. Hill's inching ever so close to 1,000 yards on the season. And I think the last 1,000-yard rusher the Bengals had was Ben Jarvis Green Ellis. Yeah, that tells you what you need to know right there. Jeremy Hill today, he got to start, and he was a beast. He backed up his words and everything he said after the Browns lost a few weeks ago. 25 carries for 148 yards for Jeremy Hill. Brian Wright in the chat room says, can we clinch a playoff spot this week? If you mean this weekend, as of right now, I don't believe we can. I think that there will need to be that something has to happen next week. They cannot clinch anything as far as this weekend goes. So next week they will have to. It'll be a bit. That Denver game is huge. I know that's the biggest understatement of the year, but that Denver game is huge on Monday Night Football. Let's look now at some of the other scores here in the NFL as of right now. How about the Bills knocking off the Packers? Who saw that coming? Aaron Rodgers was 17 of 42 for 185 yards. Aaron Rodgers, the greatest quarterback ever. Oh, he's human. Eddie Lacy, though, for the Packers, 15 carries for 97 yards and a touchdown. Kyle Orton, 14 of 27 for 158 yards. And Fred Jackson, 20 carries for 71 yards. Who would have thought that the Bills would knock off the Packers? That's crazy. Nobody saw that coming. The Colts, they knock off the Texans 17-10. The Patriots blow out the Dolphins 41-13. The Steelers edge out the Falcons 27-20. The Giants win 24-13 over the Redskins. The Chiefs are 31-13 winners over Oakland. The Ravens, they knock off the Jags by 8 at home, 20-12. Some of the others, one more final, as I mentioned, Panthers knock off the Bucks 19-17. The Jets trail the Titans 3-0 right now, that game in the second quarter. Denver still up 3-0 against the Chargers. I probably should refresh this to make sure these scores are updated. Let's see here. Oh, of course. They go ahead and they change everything up. Yep, 3-0 in both those games. And the Seahawks and Niners are tied at 0, as well as the Vikings and Lions. Cowboys and Eagles are tonight. And tomorrow night, you'll see the Saints and the Bears. So that's where we're at right now. If the season were to end today, your Cincinnati Bengals would be the 4 seed hosting Pittsburgh in the playoffs. And we all know the history behind that game. I don't want to see that. But right now, that game against Denver is huge. That's the difference between winning the division and losing the division, in my opinion. Because if if the Steelers win next week, there'll be a game. And for whatever reason, if the Bengals were to lose against Denver, man, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. It's going to come down to some shenanigans here these last couple of weeks. The schedule makers were they were not on our side when it comes to the month of December, that's for sure. Hosting Denver on Monday Night Football to end the year and then go on the road in Pittsburgh, which, by the way, we've seen this team go into Pittsburgh in years past and win when they've needed to. So it's not something that's out of the realm of possibility. But their saving grace right now is their running game. If they continue to run the football the way that they did today, this team can do some damage in the postseason. That's my take. That's what I think. But 1 week at a time, got to beat Denver on Monday Night Football, slay a lot of those demons, and hopefully they can get oh man, that Denver game is going to be huge. I can't state that enough. But again, Bengals win 30-0 today. They shut out the Browns, first time since 2006. It was good to see the Bengals defense make Johnny Manziel look average, and the Bengals rushing attack was fantastic. Love to hear your feedback, though. You can always email me, insidethejungle@spnt.tv. You can follow me on Twitter @Nick Suberling. And if you like what we do here on the show and you want to support our show, check us out over at patreon.com, patreon.com/Nick Suberling, or to make it easier, spnt.tv/Patreon. There you can contribute to the show and get access to our daily episodes. That's right. This show for the month of December has been daily, and we've got 2 more weeks left of the show being a daily show. If you want access to the shows, all it costs is $1. That gets you access. Easy enough. Check it out again, spnt.tv/Patreon. Support the show today if you like what we do here on the podcast. And thank you to everybody who's gone out and supported Inside the Jungle. I think that's going to do it. The phone calls have stopped. It's time to wrap up. It's been an hour. Thanks again to everybody who's tuned in live here at cincyjungle.com. Make sure you check out, again, if you're downloading the daily episodes through Patreon, the Monday Report. We will be back tomorrow. And don't forget, we're also live every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern at cincyjungle.com. I'll be joined by my three amigos, Scott Bantel, Mickey Menzer, and Anthony Cosenza. We'll see you all on Wednesday night. Big special thanks to my associate producers, Andy Lanham, Larry Rolson, and Mike Vardy as well. That's going to do it for Inside the Jungle. Again, thank you to everybody who called in. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. Oh, we got one last call. We'll go one more call. I'll halt the music just because I have to talk to this guy. Michael Smith from the UK on the Skype line. He had a rough morning, a rough afternoon for him, and now he's live here on Inside the Jungle. I just want to say it was a spectacular performance by your Liverpool squad today, and hey, you know what? At least your Bengals made up for it.
Must we talk about the other game?
Is that why you waited till the end to call in?
No, I don't think so. No, not at all. Not at all. You're lucky I'm calling in altogether, mate. But must we start off on a bad note? Really? Do we really need to talk? This is a Bengals call-in show. It's nothing to do with what went on at the Theatre of Hate earlier this afternoon.
All right, we don't have to talk about the game, but let's talk about that shutout today by the Bengals defense.
Woohoo! Yeah, it was pretty good, wasn't it? It's nice to give out what the Browns gave us a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, Jeremy Hill, isn't he? He's a god amongst insects compared to in our team at the moment. He's certainly. I think if it's a pity really, because I think if he'd been playing a bit more, he could be well up for Rookie of the Year.
I think he still will be up for it. Well, who's going to beat him?
Well, I suppose Odell Beckham Jr.
Oh, come on, because he makes. Oh, come on, just because he makes him.
It's what makes the highlights. I know, probably maybe not, but that's what makes the highlights real, doesn't it? That one-handed catch.
Wow.
Possibly. Well, it's not going to be Johnny Football, is it at all?
Definitely not.
You'd have thought so. By the way, the media was.
I know, right? You would have thought he'd be a Pro Bowl quarterback.
No, it was more than that. It was like he was going to turn water into wine, raise people from the dead. I don't know, raise the economy out of recession in Cleveland. I don't know. That's what he was That's what it was meant to be doing. But yeah, it was. I was loving it. I was just absolutely loving the heat that the line was bringing on to the Browns. I mean, I know Maluka gives away a stupid 15-yard penalty, but come on, you couldn't really resist that. Could just getting in Johnny Football's face, really. I
liked it.
Yeah, you love it, don't you? You got to make a statement. You know, you got to make a statement saying, "Johnny Football, welcome to the floor." That's what you got to do. That's what you have to do in this game. But yeah, it was great. It was absolutely, just the shutout as well. Just making that statement, and just the fact is the Bengals just sat on the Browns all day, really. I mean, and also the D brings it, the running game brings it. I mean, Dalton. I did actually think Dalton played that well today, really. The pick, Dalton's pick. Yeah, a couple of inches higher than I can't remember who was throwing to. Was it Green? He was throwing.
He was trying to throw it to Hewitt.
Hewitt throws it a few inches higher. Hewitt catches it and he runs in the end zone. It's 27-0 by about the second before halftime, and that's the game over. But if anything, it was like, oh come on, let's give them a chance, eh? Let's see what we've got with the Bengals. We don't do the easy, but the Browns offered nothing really today. Even I know Hayden goes off a bit early, but do you honestly think they would have made it that him staying on the field would make much of a difference? I don't think he would have done really. But yeah, moving on. Great win next week against the Broncos. Definitely feel more at ease now going into Monday Night Football. Just hoping that the running game. We can certainly bring that against Denver. I'm not too sure what their run defense is like, though. Not at this stage. Not at this stage, anyway. I don't think in the AFC West they tend to play a lot of the run. Unless you're facing Jamal Charles, but then it's just generally get anything at him, don't
That's
you?
true. No, but I mean, Denver's defense is pretty solid. I know that they like to get after the quarterback as well. So yeah, I think it'll be a tough challenge if they can run the ball against Denver. That'd be a big plus.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's a bit of a long range, but I might think as well, depending also what weather we get, what weather you get in Cincinnati.
True.
He's going to be. If it's what is it coming into winter now? He could be getting anything. If you get, I mean, Peyton's shoulder. If he gets really cold, that could affect him.
True.
The Bengals are far more used to playing in such a climate. I think we'll take the positives. I mean, let's see what can happen. I've got the feeling that we can go into debt. We can beat the Broncos on Monday Night Football. But I don't want a scenario is where we go and beat the Broncos and then we lay an egg in Pittsburgh the following week, because that doesn't really matter to anyone. So it's kind of the next. Let's win out. Let's do what Chad Ochocinco tweeted earlier today, and let's say the Bengals win out rest of the season, and we pick up. I think we probably end up going. If that happens, I reckon we end up end up third in the seedings for the AFC.
They got to leapfrog Indy, who they don't have a tough game the rest of the way out either, though. So
no, they benefit from playing in a division which is just feeble, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's just unfortunately that's just the way that it's laid out, isn't it?
Yeah.
They play in the AFC South. Isn't Indianapolis actually further north than Cincinnati?
It's amazing how that all works out. You're right. The divisions are. That's a great question.
I guess that's for another podcast for another day.
Well, I appreciate you calling in. I know it's late over in the UK. I just have one question for you.
Go on.
Is Brendan Rodgers getting sacked in the morning?
In the morning? Probably not. Probably not in the morning. No. I'm thinking more towards April when the financial year starts again. I'm thinking it's probably not as expensive to fire him in the morning. I don't know what's going to happen with him at the moment. I think the logic is at the moment is Borussia Dortmund aren't doing too well in their league as well. So the logic would be is you sack Rodgers and you try and get Jurgen Klopp in, but it's whether you can bring in a replacement. I guess Kenny Dalglish is just waiting by the phone. That's what usually happens.
I think we just lost like every Bengals fan who listens to this show. They're thinking, what? No, I'm just teasing, Mike. Hey, I appreciate the call.
No problem, mate.
And I'll talk to you soon, bud.
Talk to you soon, mate. Hooday.
Hooday. Mike Smith here on the Jungle Line. Perfect way to wrap up here on Inside the Jungle Postgame. Again, as always, get in touch. InsideTheJungle@spnt.tv is the email address. You can email me as well, or send me your tweets at Nick Strudling. Support the show. spnt.tv/Patreon. Bengals win 30-0 over the Cleveland Browns. They're now 9-4-1 on the year. First place and a shutout. It feels good. For those of you who subscribe to the show or are supporters of the Patreon campaign, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Otherwise, I'll see you Wednesday night, 8 o'clock Eastern, right here at CincyJungle.com. Hooday, everybody. Thanks for watching.